August gathering. First of all, I'm thankful to ISSI for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts before this August gathering. Since the topic I'm assigned with is a bit broad, so I'll have to go through the quintessential points all along the way. I'll try to be succinct and short. But let me tell you one thing, that when the idea was conceived in 2013 about CPEC, Pakistan was considered as an investment-dry country. And we had three major issues. One, we were confronted with the energy shortfall. Second, our industry was relocating because of the energy deficit. And the third one was we were branded as a country of extremism and terrorism. Now, 5 years on, CPEC has given a lot of leverage. I'll come back to this point when I'm wrapping up. Let me start with the early harvest phase. Now, when we talk about early harvest phase or early harvest program, the basic purpose was to improve the infrastructure and to get rid from the energy shortfall. And these are the prerequisites. It's an economic premise all over the world when we talk about the economic accentuation. These are the basics, because it is needed for a developing state, and especially in the realm of economy. So we have achieved a lot. By 2021, Pakistan would be no more an energy deficit country. As far as the infrastructure is concerned, it is going great guns. So that is what we have achieved up till now as far as the early harvest program is concerned. But these were some of the key areas. For example, like power projects, road projects, rail, urban mass transit projects, optical fiber projects, and Gwadar projects. We call it 1+4 portfolio, and where we take Gwadar project as a standalone project. The current government has further expanded this, and I'll definitely explain this in detail. Now, we are almost entering into the second phase of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. There were lots of apprehensions, and we know that both from the internal side and also from the external side. There were lots of rumors, there were lots of hoo-ha, there were lots of controversies being injected into the minds of people, especially since the inception of this new government, that what is going to happen. But now, all of these controversies are put to silence, especially in the context that the new government has further expanded the horizon of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So what's in the socio-economic development, or this is basically we have charted out the Center of Excellence for CPEC, the next 5 years plan, that how we are going to enter into the next phase, and what would be the prerequisites for the in the second phase. And let me tell you that China has also practiced and exercised the same principles as far as they achieved economic progress and success. So the current government has attributed new slogans to CPEC. We used to call it that CPEC is a game changer, but the current government is calling it that it is CPEC is it has multiple corridors, and we also call it CPEC with many doors. CPEC, we call it now, it's a gateway of prosperity. For example, these are 6 new passages or doors, for example, like trade and market access, industrial development and global value chain, poverty alleviation, agriculture modernization and marketing, Gwadar oil city and blue economy. Swiftly I would go through each of these different aspects. China, we believe, it's the second largest economy with 12.24 trillion nominal GDP, 2.4 trillion exports, and 1.8 trillion imports. Now, this is important that Pakistan's exports to China are 1.5 billion, and imports are 15.3 billion. It's a huge trade deficit. And there is a lot of talk as far as this trade imbalance is concerned. Now, what could be the strategies, how we can mitigate this trade deficit with China? For example, like unilateral market access and priority quota allocation from China is needed to balance bilateral trade. This is one. As far as the FTA renegotiations, these are in progress, and very soon it is going to be concluded. The case of non-tariff barriers, and also it is also important that the cultural norms and values of the targeted market. Usually we believe and we say that we need to learn from the Chinese experiences, but I personally believe that it is more important that we definitely have to learn from the Chinese practices and experience, but it has to be tailored accordingly, according to the needs of Pakistan's market, according to the needs of Pakistan's cultural norms. When we talk about industrial development and global value chains, import substitution with China is light engineering sector and consumer products up to 5 billion a year through relocation of Chinese industries to Pakistan. Chinese markets, Chinese industries relocating all over the world. This is relocating to Africa, this is relocating to Southeast Asia and elsewhere. But Pakistan has a huge potential where this selective market industry can be relocated to Pakistan, especially through light manufacturing industry, as Dr. Nadia just rightly mentioned, that simple things like in the light manufacturing industries like telephone, mobile phones, and likewise, these are actually being imported from other countries. So if we talk to China and if it is being relocated to Pakistan, we can save a huge sum like 5 billion or even more than that. Relocation of Chinese export-focused light engineering and consumer products, labor-intensive industry to add exports up to share of 40 billion a year. We are still a labor-intensive industry. As far as China is concerned, it's no more a labor-intensive industry. We have the cheap labor. We are blessed with the endowments. So if the industry is relocated to Pakistan, so this much amount we can save annually. Expansion of IT sector and e-commerce through joint ventures, transfer of technology and capacity enhancement to increase productivity, which is direly needed to Pakistan. Joint development and management of special economic zones under CPEC. Poverty reduction. China has been able to eradicate poverty in 40 years' time, and this is unique to the history of human mankind. I think China is the only country under the sun which has achieved this. And since Imran Khan is very keen and he wants to learn from the China's miracle, he wants to take an example from China. By 2020, China would be able to completely eradicate the poverty problem. So we need to learn from that. And for that very purpose, I believe that a lot of reforms are needed. When we talk about reforms, this is my gut feelings that the first thing which comes into my mind is that institutional reforms are very important. The social reforms are important, and likewise. CPEC, this is the figure of Center of Excellence for CPEC, that by 2030, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor would be able to create 1.2 million direct jobs. Up till now, let me quote the figure that about 70,000 direct jobs have been created, and out of that, 60,000 jobs have been taken by the Pakistani blue-collar and white-collar labor and professionals. And that's, I'm talking about the direct jobs. The indirect jobs are many. Provision of employment through introduction of National Job Portal for CPEC, capacity development of skills via technical and vocational centers across the country, community-based projects in underdeveloped areas. Since I'm running out of time, so I'll try to go swiftly. I would like to go through all these, the remaining slides, Oil City and Gwadar Blue Economy. It's definitely when we talk about this expansion, these are some of the important areas. For example, coastal areas, we have around 1,046 kilometers. The fisheries and its manufacturing and its establishment through the modern technology is again a very important area. Blue economy, my colleague would deliberate upon that, so I won't take much time. Regional connectivity and third party participation. We know that when we talk about Belt and Road Initiative, it has its important component of cross-continental connectivity. But regional connectivity, there are lots of bottlenecks, there are lots of issues which needs to be resolved. For example, I believe that when we talk about economy, security and economy complement each other. They go hand in hand with each other. So, for example, if Belt and Road Initiative, if they want to be translated in reality,